In this video, we're going to talk all about a wonderful warm paint color by Sherwin because maybe we need a little break from gray. I'm of course talking about this color, Natural Linen, which is just wonderfully pleasant and warm and cozy while still being very light and airy at the same time. So I'm going to give you all the need to know information about this paint color, and also I've put together a whole color palette that you can use right away on your next painting project. So Natural Linen is a color that I really am fond of. It is one that I've talked about in previous videos, but I wanted to give you an up-to-date color quickie episode that gives you some trim color options, some color pairings, and then just the need to know stuff about this color in particular. Starting with the LRV, or the light reflectance value. And this is an extremely important number to be aware of when you're talking about paint colors. 66 LRV means this color reflects 66% of the light that hits it. And that puts it in the lighter color category, borderline maybe a mid-tone. It just means that it's going to be lighter than most colors, but it doesn't compare to the brightness of a white, which might be in the 90s LRV wise. So 66 is a pretty good spot to be in. Not too light, not too dark. It just has enough depth to be noticeable, so it'll contrast with nice white trim, which we'll get to in a second. Now, as a color, it should be noted that Natural Linen has been featured in a ton of different Sherwin-Williams collections. I mean, you can see it right over here, but there's a ton of them. Look at all that. And you can take it or leave it if that means anything to you, but what I take from it, especially a color that is this light and neutral, is the versatility of this color. Whether you're into neutrals or autumnal colors or just nature, traditional design styles, Scandi design styles, even boho, transitional, whatever the case may be, colors like Natural Linen are just going to be that much more useful because it can be used in so many different ways. In the context of this whole video, this color palette that I'm going to present to you, Natural Linen is going to be my main color choice, which means this is the color that sort of starts the whole palette. You can assume that this color can go all throughout the main parts of your home, and then the other colors are going to be more supportive, secondary colors, or even accent colors. Need a hallway color? This is perfect. Need something a bit lighter and brighter for your kitchen or your living room and family rooms? Awesome choice as well. Now, technically, it is part of the yellow color family, and I think it more so comes from maybe a slight gold leaning undertone rather than pure yellow, because as you can see, as the colors get darker in its spectrum, it almost looks like it goes into a browny sort of bronzy direction, which is kind of like this ochre yellow that I think is very, very popular when it comes to these warmer neutrals. So not so much a grungy sort of red-brown kind of undertone. This one definitely goes towards that grayy side of things, that touch of gold that really makes it nice and vibrant. But not too vibrant, it's still very much a neutral, so no worries there. Press that like button if you like using neutrals, because I do. So my subscribers watching, you guys know what comes next, the trim color options. And I always like to start with the light trim option because that is the one that most of you are probably going to gravitate towards. West Highland White would be my trim color of choice for Natural Linen, mainly due to the fact that it's both clean, bright, and crisp, but also has just a bit of warmth to really coordinate even better with Natural Linen. It's not going to feel overly yellow or highlightery as a white. It has a very simplistic sort of cleanliness to it while still being just a bit on the warm side of things rather than more of a blue or a gray leaning white. Now, what about a dark trim color if you want something a little more moody, dramatic, punchy? What about Cocoon? Now, this is not going to be the obvious choice because you might think, okay, well, maybe a slate gray or a deep dark taupe. This one does lean towards taupe. It has a bit of a brown and a dark gray combined, but you also have some green added in. Interestingly enough, Sherwin-Williams does define this as being part of the yellow color family, much like Natural Linen, but obviously extremely different colors. Varying levels of depth. Even the hue is different. This is more of a browny green. The other one is more of that sort of light creamy, goldy, beigey kind of color. While Natural Linen is much more of that light beige with that touch of a gold undertone. But Cocoon I specifically picked mainly because of the other colors in the palette, which we're going to get to right now, just before you hit that subscribe button, of course, because we put out a lot of videos every single week. We also have a Patreon that has bonus exclusive content for our die-hard viewers. Every single Sunday, videos come out there, and if you become a Prime member on our Patreon, you get your own personalized color palette from me every 3 months. So link in the description down below. Color pairing number 1 is Chat Room. As you can maybe tell, there is a little bit of a neutral green happening here, kind of like Cocoon. Those two colors very much in the same sort of family, maybe not directly related, but cousins perhaps, because you do have a color family of yellow again, and you also have this mixture of gray, a little bit of brown, and then some green, but much lighter than Cocoon, and also just a little more neutral feeling, a little more subtle, a little more understated, which I think is nice. This is going to be a great secondary color option to natural linen because of the fact that it has more depth with a 41 LRV, and it just gives you that slightly cooler approach, that kind of grounded color that has just a very subtle statement that it makes in areas that you might not want to use natural linen. You want to sort of go in a very different direction within the neutral palette. Now, what if you wanted some depth, some oomph in a certain room, but you still want it to be warm and just very much in line with natural linen? Song Thrush would be my choice as the second color pairing, and this is more of a mid-tone tan type of color. It also has a bit of a honey gold sort of undertone happening, and I would call this color the older sibling of natural linen. It's a bit more sophisticated, it's a bit more deliberate because of its coloration and its saturation. So I would use Song Thrush in those rooms where maybe natural linen is just a bit too light. Maybe you have a lot of that natural light coming in through a big bay window and it's just kind of washing out the look of natural linen on the walls. Song Thrush will really be able to stand on its own and actually still be a noticeable color. It'll feel very rich in that case. Our third color is our accent choice, and we have another green. This one is called Foxhall Green. Not one that gets talked about a lot, but I really love this color, and we officially have something that's actually in the green color family. If this was in the yellow family, I would be very concerned, Sherwin-Williams. But I will say there is a yellow undertone happening here. So it does give you some zing, a bit of an herbal quality, like a chimichurri sauce on a steak. It just has this liveliness to it that I think is really nice. It's a bit of a warmer leaning green, which I think also coincides nicely with natural linen. Just a wonderful choice of a color if you need an accent, you need that dose of saturation, that color, and you're not concerned with going with a really dark paint color. So here's the palette all together. Please let me know what you think. We got another video right over here.